Today in the crypto space, we see the market a bit indecisive. Bitcoin down approximately 3%, while Ethereum is showing a bit of strength, trying to reach much higher levels. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, pretty much indecisive, waiting for the heavyweights, Bitcoin and Ethereum, to make some critical decisions. Are we going to finally keep on going to the upside, or are we going to keep on hesitating here, waiting and waiting for an altcoin season? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, guys, I want to talk about Ethereum. What's going on with ETH? What's going on with the ETH price? And ultimately, can we depend on ETH for an alt season? So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of this volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. We do see that Bitcoin currently is taking a bit of a hit, and it did come down a little bit, as you can see. However, in the short term, on the 1 hour fractal, the trend is still our friend. Now, I could see that there could be a bit of divergence here, but what's most interesting to me is the strength right now out of Ethereum, because ultimately we know that the perfect recipe for an altcoin season is to see Bitcoin hesitate and go sideways. It gets boring, it gets uninteresting, and then ultimately people start looking and speculating for other opportunities. And not only that, I think the market is slowly coming around to the idea that we need Ethereum. Right? We may not be bullish on Ethereum. We may not like its tech. We might not like its gas fees. We might not like a lot of things about ETH, but the reality is ETH has proven to us many times in previous cycles that it is a requirement that Ethereum leads the way for the altcoin season. Now, things could change. I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying that another altcoin can't lead the way. Could we see Solana? Could we see Sui? We could see many other projects lead the way for an altcoin season, but we've been waiting for that to happen. And you can see that not even Solana stepped up to the plate to make that happen. So I think the market is realizing, like, hey, if we want to get going, we need to stop focusing on meme coins and perhaps start focusing on where the real opportunities are that has been proven time and time again in previous cycles. Let's get Ethereum pumping. Ethereum pumping gets all eyes on Ethereum. Retail market starts to see what tech is all about, what the crypto tech is all about, what Web3 is all about, and what smart contracts are. And then we start exploring what the other opportunities are within the space. And that starts to bring in fresh capital. So this is quite an interesting moment right now, because we do see the Bitcoin dominance falling a little bit. Guys, tonight we'll talk about Bitcoin dominance. We'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about all of this kind of stuff. But I want to focus on ETH just a little bit. Before we do that, though, let's scrape to the top 100 just to get a bit of sentiment. You can see that the market is fairly bullish today. Pretty good. Although we did get a bit of a dip in the last, I would say, hour. That's fine. But however, we are still in an uptrend, and we can see that it's looking pretty good. I starting to think that we might get a really good green weekend. It's very possible here, guys, because I do notice that there's a bit of momentum picking up on ETH, a lot of trading volume on ETH. There's a little bit of interest on ETH in the last little bit. And you can see a lot of the price action right now is following Ethereum as a leading indicator. So because we know, again, is if Ethereum starts to get to previous highs and all-time highs in price discovery, really what we're going to see is the beginning of a potential altcoin season, and the market tends to want to front run the sentiment. So for me personally, it's like if you're going to take some risk, you should be taking risk with the mindset that Ethereum is going to eventually break out. So we have to keep our eyes on Ethereum, and Ethereum showing strength gives us that indication that maybe it's time to get risk on a little bit. And today, was a moment for me to start taking a bit more risk. Obviously, we want to take those shots. If you don't take a shot, you never know if you're going to make it, right? And we do see a lot of good projects right now still holding steady. You can see Hyperliquid is doing well. Exchange tokens are going sideways at least. We have Uniswap taking a bit of a dip here in the last little while, but still in an uptrend right here on the 1 hour time frame. We have Aave looking pretty good. Mantra rolling over a little bit. Okay, that's fine, but Mantra's been killing it, so you can't even hate on it. Monero's doing good. A lot of these projects, look at these. We have 1 hour fractals getting the reversals to the upside, and we may continue to the upside in the next little while. Now, I know this is only the 1 hour fractal, but ultimately, if you start zooming out, we've been in a downtrend for a little bit here now, guys. So maybe this is just the beginning of a pivot to the upside led by Ethereum's strength, right? This is what's important. Radium pulling back a little bit, down 7%. Actually, it's a bit of a pullback, more than I expected, to be honest. What else do we see here? We see a few dips. Sonic's doing well today, up 10%. Good strength out of Sonic. I think the TVL's concept is definitely showing that people are interested in backing Sonic and the future of Sonic, which is great to see. What else do we have here? A 7.5% out of Floki. Nice pump to the upside off of the Ethereum narrative. So this is what I'm trying to say. When you see Ethereum run, we're going to see Ethereum projects run as well and show strength. And you can see a lot, like, a few others that are based on the Ethereum narrative. And this is the thing. We're waiting for a little bit more. We're waiting for more confirmations, but ultimately speculation and taking shots at the right level with risk to reward is the way you got to do it, guys. So I'm hoping that we eventually, can move past all of this fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and we can start looking for bottoms of which we can take some risk, and obviously calculated risk. All right, guys, let's jump right into some charts. I know you're here to talk about the price action, so let's begin. Let's see what's going on with Bitcoin. Ultimately, Bitcoin at the current moment, did get a bit of a hit at its range highs, and the question is this just another lower high, or are we finally going to come down all the way down to range lows? And of course, the fear is there, guys. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So ultimately, what we're worrying here is that, Bitcoin ultimately, if it does roll over here on the daily, it doesn't look good, obviously, but really the structure is still clear. The structure is still very, very clear. Even if we came down to about 92, we have no choice but to remain bullish. We break below 92, things start to look a little hectic, right? And right now, I'm still bullish. Reason being is that there's no reason to be bearish. And in fact, the daily is still looking pretty good. Look at the momentum. Didn't get overbought. It's still in an uptrend. Okay, maybe there's a bit of indecision here, or maybe a bit of bearishness coming out of the trend oscillator, but we're still in an uptrend right into all of this, as you can see. So I'm playing it very easy, because what happens is that usually right before a pump, there's shakeout opportunities, right? Capitulations, whether it be timing, because now we've been going sideways here for a good while. If we time this, we've been going sideways for about 75 bars, 75 days. That's a long time, for a bull run consolidation. So as we start to question, are we in a bull run or not, right? And then people start, getting frustrated and worried, and are we done, and this and that. So the reality is that this is still bullish. We're still fine here. Now, if we get onto lower time frames, this is where the concerns start to build, because it's like, if we start breaking and making lower lows and lower highs, then maybe we're in a downtrend right here on the tail end. And it's possible, because you can see this is a lower low, a lower high, and we made a high, and we're making a lower high here. We made a lower low. Are we coming down for another lower low all the way down here? It's possible. However, guys, we have to understand that level to level, we need to track. We still have a lot of support that we can potentially get support on. Okay, first of all, right here, again, the 102,000. We're right here, previous levels, previous tops, good levels, good psychological levels. I kind of like this zone. Let's see if we can get some support there. Let's see if we get support right here at 100. We have the 200 daily right around here, which is great. And then you can see there's a bit of a volume gap that can allow the price to kind of fluctuate right into this zone. Is it possible? Sure. We have the point of control. So we got good levels to anticipate even maybe a double bottom as low as a double bottom. Look, we can even make a lower low and come all the way down here, like I mentioned. The thing is that currently Bitcoin is still within this range, and as long as we're in this range, we have no choice but to understand that Bitcoin is not doing anything. It's not bearish, it's not bullish. So we have to pull back and say, what is bullish, what is bearish? Higher time frames, lower time frames, right? You might be able to find that. On the higher time frames, you can see that we came in from an impulse. We are now consolidating, going sideways, and we might continue to the upside. That's a bull flag. So the reality is that we're still bullish, bigger picture. We just need to zoom out and realize what's really happening here. This is a bull flag. You remember this? This was like 200 days, 300 days long. Okay, maybe this consolidation is going to be a lot shorter. I'm hoping it is, and we get some, let the price action resolve itself a little bit sooner. But ultimately, what we want to see is a breakout here, and I feel like it's gearing up for that opportunity to see this thing break out. We're consolidating, impulsive move, consolidation, and then continuation. That's usually the pattern that we get here, unless we're coming down from much lower levels. We also have the 200 daily, creeping up right here, trailing along this trend line. It could be that eventually we continue going sideways a little bit, that we tag that 200 and then bounce right off of it or get close enough to it. Look, that's going to cause a lot more sideways. It's going to be a lot of emotion in that type of scenario. So let's see what happens in the next little bit for the market. Bitcoin right now is still okay. I can feel the fear because of this dip, but the reality is we've been here before many, many, many times. Okay, guys, let's jump right into the Ethereum chart. I want to focus on ETH today, because I felt the emotion out there. Now, I have been seeing a lot on my timeline, a lot of individuals starting to come around with the idea that we need Ethereum. And this is super important because Ethereum, although I don't hold a lot of Ethereum, right? It's not the point. I do realize that Ethereum is a great indicator that we are ready to start speculating in more risk on assets. And that's usually the indication. And history has shown us that that's the case. Now, we may not like its tech. We may not like, what's going on, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, what matters is history, because as a signal, Ethereum could give us the signal. I do feel that other L1s will outperform Ethereum. In fact, we might even flip its market cap. It's very, very possible because we know that Ethereum ultimately, from a tech perspective, is lagging. We need Vitalik to step it up. We need Vitalik in the team and of course, all the developers that are behind the Ethereum blockchain to actually give us some good upgrades so that it can compete within the space properly. But you can't deny the fact that Ethereum at this current moment is producing a really nice structure. If we go into the 4-day, you might see it a little bit better. You can see that we're doing pretty good here. We have a nice rounded bottom and some sideways, and then we have another rounded bottom right into here with a bit of a dip, and we see cup and handles, big cup and handles everywhere, right? So this is a nice rounded bottom with a retracement, which is nice, right? A nice bounce off of that level as well. Now, as soon as we start zooming in here, you start realizing that this structure is probably the most important structure out of the pretty much an entire crypto space. And the reason being is that if Bitcoin continues going sideways, or even gets into further price discovery, that's great for the market in general, to keep us speculating in crypto in general. But Ethereum breaking to previous price action and breaking out to all-time highs allows us to speculate into altcoins a lot more and heavier, because we know what happens next. Now, ultimately, going sideways here is not a good look, right? Because we get bored. And the market right now is desperate. I feel the emotions. I feel the fatigue. People are exhausted with this crypto space. But when that happens, it's a sign of capitulation, right? We get bored, boredom, time, they tire us out. It's like in a boxing match. There's two ways to win: knockout, or tire the person out, tire the opponent out, and then just, tip him over with a finger. And that could definitely happen. We get tired and tired and tired of waiting and waiting, of getting wrecked, of trying to trade breakouts, and then all of a sudden it doesn't happen, and then finally it does when you're not looking and you're not ready. Okay, so this is it. We see a shoulder, a head, and a potential shoulder. This is what we're waiting for here, guys. A nice inverse head and shoulder. We see the neckline is super clear at 4K. And as I'm saying this, we see a lot of people on socials right now, especially the heavyweights. What they're trying to do is pump the Ethereum bags. And the reason why, and I believe that they're not even that bullish on ETH, what they're trying to do is just really get the market bullish on crypto and especially altcoins. Because I'm certain that these heavyweights are in on very, very rewarding opportunities other than Ethereum. I personally don't think Ethereum is going to be, one of the lead contenders for next cycles. I think there's a lot of tech that is coming right behind it. But again, we need Ethereum. We need Ethereum. So what do I see here? Let me zoom in a little bit so we can kind of pay attention to what's really happening in this descending, falling wedge, which I appreciate significantly. Today we attempted a breakout, which we kind of did, right? We're going to close the daily candle. We'll see where the daily candle closes. Let's take a look at oscillators at the same time. Beautiful descending wedge on the daily. This is the daily candle, broke out of the trend, which is really nice. Attempted a break of character by basically making a higher high above these highs, but it didn't happen, right? It hit the wall, got rejected. We do see volatility pushing to the upside as we speak right now. From here to here, it's still pushing on the daily. And the trend oscillator is still looking really good. We got an EMA cross with one green histogram bar. So really what I'm saying is that could we actually start running out of this zone? And getting into a fresh long run at the current moment is quite dangerous. So what we really have to do is look at structure from a lower time frame. Look what's happening right here. We are back testing that breakout from the diagonal range, and diagonals are not my best indicators. I don't trade diagonal lines. These trend lines are not for me the best place to trade. The horizontals are. And you can see clearly that there's a horizontal level that I'm interested in, given the fact that there is a volume gap right above. If we can break above the $3,450 mark, guys, we're starting to move, and I think the market might get its confirmations. However, if you start looking at the oscillators, it's a bit of a mix of sentiment, given the fact that the volatility is looking for a rollover here. However, the expansion and momentum are still in an uptrend. Okay, so this is something to be concerned with, because we're getting a bit of a mixed message. What could happen here is that we can see volatility either stay up here and it fakes us out for a reversal, which happens in the past. Look what happens here, right? Or it does get oversold and comes down to this level. But in the meantime, we only dip a little bit. Maybe we come down a little bit more. I'm being exaggerated here with the length of time. Maybe it comes down a little bit more. That's fine. However, once we get this reset and we move to the upside, it's most likely that we're going to see momentum continue to the upside and see the momentum get overbought. If we see it get overbought, then what's going to happen is we're going to see Ethereum start to break out again. So what we're waiting for is this relief that we're getting to the downside, or this dip that we're getting to the downside to expire, to get done with. Let the bears respond on the lower time frames. Once they are done, then the bulls will take the ball back into their court and start running again with it, to the upside. And this is obviously being very bullish right now. A bullish thesis, the bearish thesis. If we start breaking below the diagonal, we come back into the structure, we back test the trend line, and we get back in. We're coming back to the bottom of the range, and it's likely that we see Ethereum back maybe even below $3,000. Okay, so that's the bearish scenario. But right now, as you can see on the 4-hour, we're still pushing. The only thing we have that is a little bit negative is the volatility, which, if you can see, the volatility follows all these little pumps throughout this entire price action. But really, it's not like it's a most important thing. The most important thing is momentum and trading the volatility alongside with momentum. Volatility is good as long as you can trade the volatility in the same direction as the momentum of the chart. Right now, momentum is still pushing upwards. We want to get one more impulsive move so that we can get shorts liquidated, because I can bet you there's some people entering shorts right at these levels. And if we can get a short squeeze, we're going to see Ethereum run. Okay, so this is in line with what a lot of people are talking about right now on socials, big accounts, big social media, influencers, and they have enough strength. Those guys have enough strength to bring in new capital, new retailers in, and it's very likely that we might see that happen. Let's see what happens in the next little while, guys. What else do we got here? That's the 4-hour. So expansion is coming in hot. I like this. This green expansion is looking good. There's no sign of weakness right now other than the volatility rolling over a little bit. I want to get onto the 1 hour a second just to kind of see what's really happening here. As you can see, if we can get some support here, guys, we might continue to the upside. So the 1 hour is pushing down. I see that. 4 hours slightly pushing down. I do see that in the short term, but the 4 hours still good for a bounce, and the daily still bullish. There's nothing wrong with the daily. Everything is looking really good right now on the daily. Just in the midterm or in the short term, volatility is expected. All right, guys, so be careful out there. We might get a green weekend. It does look pretty good if we continue expanding and breaking out of here. Targets. The base of the wedge is usually the target in a falling wedge, so maybe $4,000 if first target could be possible. Right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setup, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.